Now, another woman who was there that summer at Caux provides inspiration and a resource for my writing and some of the lessons I draw on. In fact, I've written about her in several books. I told her story at an international peace conference in Munich last month, where many Germans were very much moved by it. Irène Laure was a nurse from Marseille. She was a great European. Between the wars, she'd had German children in her home. But when the Germans invaded her country, she joined the resistance. She saw her comrades killed. Her son was tortured. And she stayed with us when we were living in Oregon. And she told me that at the end of the war, she just wanted Germany wiped from the face of the earth. Well, she joined the political struggle. She was part of the first intake of women members of parliament. She became Secretary General of the Socialist Women of France. And she was invited to this center. She accepted with alacrity. She was looking forward to good food for her children after the war. They were emaciated. Never crossed her mind there'd be Germans there. But when she arrived and she heard German spoken, she heard 100 more Germans were due, she wanted to leave, anything to get away. She ran into Bookman, Dr. Bookman. He asked her, what kind of unity, you as a socialist, what kind of unity in Europe will you ever find without Germany? Well, she retired to her room. She spent 3 days and 3 nights wrestling with the question whether she'd be willing to give up her hatred for the sake of a new Europe. When she came out, nobody knew what had happened. She said she'd like to speak. She was given the opportunity. She told the audience, including a large group of Germans in one place, what she'd been through. And then she said to them, will you please forgive me for my hatred? And she told me how she put out her hand and a German woman came up and took it. And she said it was like 100 kilos being lifted from my shoulders. She said later, at that moment I literally knew that I was going to give the rest of my life to take this message of forgiveness and reconciliation to the world. She and her husband invited to Germany. They crisscrossed the country. They spoke in, I think, 9 out of 10 of the land parliaments. And everywhere she repeated this apology. And you can imagine what it meant to the Germans. Rather than someone pointing the finger of blame, her taking that approach.